Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here. Welcome. Sisters and brothers and sisters, critical analytics. Today we're going to discuss the demon wars. Demons are a hidden enemy. They'll be the first enemy that says Sulaiman would take on. The first. The demons. So in Mark, he would take on the demons. The demons are the cause of our disunity. They're the cause of our stumbling around, our confusion. Like I said, they're a hidden enemy. The devils are our open enemy, but the demons are a hidden enemy because they look like us, walk like us, can talk like us. But they're not us. And we're about to go to war with them. Sulaiman has been at war with them for over 30 years. So now we're getting ready to engage. The two nations are getting ready to engage. The original nation is getting ready to engage with the demons, or the saints are getting ready to engage with the demons in a full-fledged war. So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, there's many things going on in the world today. Many things. Let's go here. There's many things that's going on in the world today. Many things. We see America collapsing right before our eyes. Much confusion. Much confusion. Okay. Much disorientation. Much anxiety. We see opioid addiction on the rise, almost exponentially. We see suicide off the chart, especially upon service people. We see a raging plague, ever increasing in potency. We see international conflicts, a defeat, a humiliating defeat in Afghanistan. See economic distress. We see crime rising. In every metric, in every institution, right? Trouble. There's no good news to be had anywhere. Anywhere you look, there's no good news. And they have a person that's supposedly in charge is senile. That gets back to how pressure works, because pressure always pushes the best, the strongest to the center, and that starts transforming, assuming it has the ability to transform the other ones to be able to adjust to the pressure, right, that is exposed to. And if it fails to do that, then the whole structure is crushed to dust. And we see that's the best that they could produce to lead the nation. The best. You say, well, Mr. Trump was stronger. Yeah, but he didn't have the consensus of the nation. So you have to find one that's right, represents the nation. That's the one that's been pushed to the center. That's the strongest one. You see. You may have a real strong, powerful, muscle-bound person, right? But he's a slave to the king who may not have any muscle at all. So anyway, So we see all these things. The weather raging all through America. And a lot of people are oblivious to it, right? So we're going to talk about that because we have different visions going on, colliding visions. See? And the main vision, right, the pillar of all the visions of the world today, the controlling vision is about to be destroyed, which will cause greater conflict. See, the base vision is about to be destroyed, disintegrated, obliterated, which is going to cause increase the confusion dramatically, because another vision will have to be found quickly. See? And so there's going to be a war between the visions. Right now there's an established vision and everybody's bowing to that vision. But when that vision is destroyed, then you have competing visions and all of them will be at war with each other. Literal war. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's move on. Okay, the angel key. We're not going to go into all the details of angel key, but this is an aspect of angel key. Okay, we're going to talk about how things are right now. Where we are right now, see the blinking there? That's Syria and Iran, right? They're in this position right now. They're pressing up against America and Britain as far as Israel. The tensions are rising. Now, I'm going to say a couple of things about the angel key for those who've been studying it. Yeah, it's an angel language. You have to understand the language. And you can't go by necessarily position, geographical aspects of it, because you see the saints there. We know they're not in the Orient. They're not in that area part of the world. So if you start looking like that point of view, then you miss the whole point. See? They're not that, so you can't look at it from a geographical point of view. Okay? And that has several meanings. Because it says the saints is where Suleiman would come to, right? But he's not going out there. But also it says that he would be in prison, right, out in that part of the world for 3 years. So it depends on the situation, the chapter you're talking about. You have to do analysis to figure out what they're talking about. You can't use this as a geographical type of thing. You have to think these things through. That's what it's for. Look at it. Look at the chapter, talk about the information, and just focus on the information that the chapter is talking about. See? So when you talk in chapter 11, for instance, they're talking about the witnesses, so that you need to focus on that. But that's the aspect it talks about. Each chapter talks about a different aspect of the angel. So I'll move on here. I just thought I have to say that. So in this case right here, we see Syria is covering Russia. That means they interface with Russia somehow. And we see Russia's in Syria. We see Iran is covering EU, Western Europe. And that means they interface with us somehow. They are, because they're JCPOA. They're pressing them, trying to get them returned to JCPOA. Right? America's also doing that, but the Europeans, there's one they're really pushing. They're over there negotiating everything else, trying to talk them into back into it. See? So that's where we are right now. See? So we're going to talk about where we're going from here. Because in the previous, I've always talked about what happened. This is pre-war. See, they're technically at war now, but it has reached a boiling point. See, where Michael gets involved. It says Michael's angels go to war with the dragon's angels. That's the boiling point where Michael gets involved. And when Master Prophet Muhammad gets involved, the world's going to know it. Though they're going to try to hide it here, because they're going to say they're going to be desperate to explain how that powerful military, even with this Afghanistan fiasco, right? How that powerful military was destroyed by Iran and Syria. How the Air Force was collapsed, destroyed. See? And the world's going to know because Master Muhammad's going to finally reveal his power to the world. He's been showing his presence, but he hasn't showed his power yet. So that's where he's going to beginning the show of his power. See? And they're going to try to hide over here. They ain't going to tell you that how those planes were taken out. They're going to claim it was Russia helped them. See? Because they're the most powerful military in the world, so they can't tell you that there's a greater power than theirs, because they can't have the people psychologically thinking that. And that's part of what this whole thing about these demon wars. See, so we're going to talk about that. So they're not going to reveal that, though it will be revealed. But they're going to try to hide it. They're going to try to blame it on Russia and use that excuse to go to war with Russia, because Russia helped Iran. And that's how they was able to destroy their military over there. Because they said they're going to destroy their military. I think what scripture 85% of it's going to be wiped out. There's going to be very few survivors of their war effort over there. So that's where we are right now. And this is where we're about to be. Now, Syria and Iran, they're covering America and Britain. They're covering it. That means they're at war with them. They're at war with them and at war with false Israel. That war is about to break out. That's what's about to happen. See? So that war, that's what Michael's angels go to war with the dragon and his angels. The dragon is House of Sod. His angels are America, Britain, and false Israel. You might say, why is that? Well, they wouldn't have the power they had if they wasn't getting that cheap oil from Arabia, from the House of Sod, who are truly Hindus placed on the throne to guarantee a continuous flow of free oil to the West, which made the West powerful. And in turn, they would guarantee their seat on the throne, because the angel reveals they're not even Arabs, the Hindus. Okay, so that's where we're about to happen. This is about to break loose. Anytime, that's at the boiling point when Michael and his angels go to war with dragon and his angels. Michael's angels are the Shia. Okay. Then it says, when you shall see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, this is what they're talking about. Because at this point, right, this is the point where America, Britain, is thrown out. See? Because they're cast down. See? They're cast out of the Middle East. They're defeated and cast out of the Middle East. See? That's what it's talking about. And when they get kicked out, America is going to war with Russia and Europe. Europe is going to turn on them and side with Russia. See? And they'll also be at war with China and North Korea, because Britain is. So if Britain is, America is also. Part of the reason why the Europeans is going to side with Russia, because they're going to need Russian oil, because America is going to refuse to give them oil, because they're going to say we need it for the war effort, and they're going to be the spigot is going to be turned off in the Middle East, because they helped America when America attacked Iran. Well, I'm not going to say America attacked them, but in the war, with Iran's war with America, with Gog and Magog, with America, Britain, and false Israel, the West European country, EU, backed America and falls Israel and Britain. So now that the Shia, right, are in control of the Middle East, all of it, Arabia, the whole nine, all of it, whole 9 yards, right? They control all the oil and everything, and the Europeans are totally controlled on the oil from the Middle East. They're totally controlled on it, totally dependent upon it, totally. So now they're cut off, and America refused to give it to any. Because their economy will collapse overnight. They need that continuous. They don't have any reserves. They need a continuous flow of oil, guaranteed. See? But now it's cut off. That means the economy is going to collapse overnight. That's what it says in chapter 18. The economy is going to collapse overnight. That's what chapter 18 is all about. Russia's economy is not going to collapse because they have plenty of oil. See? So the only source of oil that the Europeans are going to have is Russia. So they're going to side with Russia's war against America. Okay? That's what's happening there. So now America's at war. See? And Jerusalem is surrounded by armies. All around and above. See? Where you see what army, the red right there between America and Britain, that's false Israel. They're right under there. See? So it's surrounded by armies. So that means the desolation of apartment they talk about. They don't call it apartment in this verse because it depends on, this is a different book, but it's the same thing talking about. So the desolation, right, it says it's not. So in other words, now at this point, false Israel has been, they're under siege and they're about to be taken out. Because when America and Britain, false Israel is still there. They're still in the Middle East. They can't move. I mean, that's where they live at. That's their country. That's where they stay. So they can't pick up the country and leave. They're still there. So America and Britain is kicked out. And they can't help. They can't help false Israel anymore. False Israel left there on their own, right? Surrounded by armies. Now that's the sealed. That's the unsealed version. Now the sealed version still tells you the same thing because it says when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, no desolation. Not. You see it happening right now. China, everybody's over there. Everybody, there's somebody is in the Middle East right now. It's never been like that before. Never been like that before. Everybody, there's somebody, right? Is over in the Middle East right now. That means even from the sealed version, right, you should know that this desolation is not, and this desolation means that's going to trigger the time of unprecedented trouble. So that means that time is about to happen, and unprecedented trouble means no disaster, or any trouble that's ever been since the world began until now will have been as great as this trouble that we're about to experience. That means everybody on the planet, everyone. So if forget about NFL, NBA, and all that kind of stuff. You can wrap that up. See? Then you're gonna wish you were paying attention. And then it says when you see it happen, see, remember, it's talking about what's up here. See, you have to recognize it before. It says, let them, when you see it happen, right? That means let them in Judea flee to the mountains. I mean, you have to recognize it before it happens. Because if you don't, when it happens, right, you're too late to think about it then. You have to see it, says, because it's nigh. So you have to recognize it, right? That's about to happen. That means when you see America and Britain kicked out, that means it's about to happen. And you have to recognize it. That's when you have to start making preparations to get the hell out or do what they tell you to do. But it's not, you have to understand the injury. You're not really going running any mountains. See? That's talking about something else. You have to understand the angel language. But you have to recognize before it happens. Because it says how you're going to react. It says, so you see it, you have to. So if you wait till it happens, it's too late. Because it says you can't go back to even get your baby. You can't do anything. Just move immediately when you see it. So you have to recognize to see it. You can't go say, I wonder what that is. Too late. I wonder what that means. It's too late. See? That's why we're telling you. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, right? It's near. Right? So we know that's what it means from the unsealed version. From sealed version, we know it's close because they're all over there right now. See, so that gives you a general idea. This specific, what it actually means. But we see there's armies there, means it's about to happen. From the sealed Bible version, it's about to happen. From the unsealed, you know exactly when it happens. It pins it down, right? Because it means when America loses that war, American Gog and Magog is kicked out. See? So that means it puts you closer to exactly the point when that's going to happen. But the sealed Bible just tells you in general that you know it's close. It may be a month, 2 months, but the sealed one, unsealed, tells you, no, as soon as that war happens and they're kicked out, bam, that's going to happen right after that. Okay, so that's my fleet. So, and we see what the mountains, it means mountains. See, that's what it means by the mountains. Okay, telling you the fleet air. We'll see what that means in a minute. Now we get into the demon wars, but we disaccept to get you there. For those are days of vengeance, all things was written may be fulfilled. See, a lot of Farrakhan was saying, oh man, scriptures can be changed, prophecy can be changed. That's bullshit. Jesus said every prophecy, everything, not every dot, and it would be, will be covered. It says nothing will be left. Every prophecy will be fulfilled. Every prophecy will be fulfilled. No exceptions. The only one can change prophecy is Suleiman and Master Prophet Muhammad, because they know exactly what's going to happen. So they can say, I want to do something. They know exactly what happened and what they will, and what their interface into the prophecy, right, is. So they can say, well, I refuse to do this. That's going to change the prophecy. But they're not going to do that, because that would be lying themselves, right? See? So what they see in prophecy is the best path, the most wise path to take. So why would you take a dumb path if you know the wise path? See? Like in the case of Jonah. Okay, if he said, okay, I'm not going to do, right? Well, that's no story. That's real complicated. I'll leave it there. So anyway, so all these things, so it says, for days of vengeance. What vengeance? What they did to the seed of Abraham. See, vengeance means something you repay. That's a consequence of what you've done. That's vengeance. Someone's taken, that's some person, right, extracted consequence from you for what you've done to them. Okay. So all these things be filled. So that's what it's talking about. Because the scriptures talking about all the days of vengeance. See, all this is talking about end time. Because that's when judgment comes. See, vengeance is just judgment. Vengeance is judgment. See? Okay. Let's move on. So it says, woe to those, so now identifying who is the target here. Woe to those who are with child, those that give suck in those days. Well, see, you understand angel language, because in this position, America and Britain, they got someone under them. That means they're pregnant. That's angel language, right? So those are targets. It's talking about woe to them. See, those woe to America and Britain. Woe to America and Britain, Gog and Magog. Woe to them. Those are targets of the vengeance and everything else. We'll see that in a minute. See. For there shall be great distress in the land and wrath upon these people. There shall be great distress in the land, what, America and Britain, and wrath upon them. The God's wrath will be upon them, the judgment. 1619 to 2019, 400 years of enslavement. 2020 be a plague that will kill the firstborn, right, which means the elderly, which will start the process of us returning home and destroying our oppressors. Because it said that nation that did that to us will be judged. That's the vengeance. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So that's what's happening here. It said great distress. Now what's distress? That means in America it's going to be great distress. Great distress. It's talking about, here we see them at war with China and North Korea and Russia and Europe. But that's outside, that's nationally. But distress in this land. See, and then stress out there. Stress in this land. That's the demon wars. That's the door opening to the demon wars. See? Okay? And wrath upon this people. So there being the sword within and the sword without. They're being torn apart outside because they're going to be defeated terribly in these wars. See, they're going to go out there and rush and you see how terrible they was beaten, how bad they was beaten in Afghanistan. They're going to be terribly whooped in these wars between China and North Korea. They're going to totally be humiliated, defeated. They show that they're not so great and heroic as they say. Because it says there are people going to be revealed as cowards. They say they're strong men, those so-called great seals and that kind of stuff. So they be hiding and running around and holding their what they say, wild, I forget how they say it, but they said, why they hold their groins like a woman about to give birth? They're scared to death. See, because now they're going to be fighting against some real soldiers. And they'll get their ass whipped and all this stuff you see in the movies where you got some 100-pound woman kicking 1,000 men, a karate man in the ass. No, that's bullshit, right? You're going to find really the home of the land of the brave and home of the free, or whatever they call it, right? You're going to find that they were just cowards all the time. I mean, what was they doing? The land of the free. Who's free? I mean, when was that? Who was the free? The land of, what was so brave about raping and toddlers and children and even sodomizing men, right? They had no power to resist you. They had never done anything to you. What was so brave about that? They were revealed. They would go down as the greatest cowards in history. So if they don't like it, I don't care. See, don't talk so bad about him. Don't talk about Massa. We got to pray for Massa. Okay, we're going to deal with that character in a minute. Because he's a demon. He loved Massa. Oh, Massa, you hurt Massa? Massa, please, Massa, y'all leave Massa alone. Come on, Massa. Come on, let's pray for Massa. Maybe God will help Massa. Come on, Massa. Come on, Massa. Massa, we love you, Massa. Come on, Massa. Don't hurt my Massa now. That boy is sick. Farrakhan. We're going to deal with him in a second. But wrath upon this people. See, now we still talking about, right? See, false Israel is still under siege. This is going to be happening very quickly. See, and it says they shall fall by the sword. Who is the sword? See, when you understand the angel, the sword is up there, up top there. There's the sword. So they can fall by a sword and be left captive in all the nations. See, that means when China and India invades America, they're going to invade. That's the goat that attacks the ram. They had two ones, America and Britain, right? Gog and Magog. Attack them. Says we're angry at them. You see, China's get more angry every day than America. They tell America, we're going to break your heads. You better mess with us. You're not coming to China to see. See, they get more angry at America every day. Tell America, get the hell out of here telling us when you got all your problems over there with the blacks and everything else. Get up off of us. They get more and more angry. That's what said. The goat, when he came angry and cross sea, his feet did not touch land. They come in and they're going to take America down, destroy it. See, but it said the only thing that's going to be left is those people that's healthy and young. They're going to take them into captivity and they're going to never come out. See. They don't go into the slavery they took us into, but worse, because we had hope. They have none. They never coming out. That's what's talking about here. See, that's what fall by the sword. You see this in a second. See, there it is. Fall by. See, that's the four winds. Two of the winds. That's what it's talking about. Okay. Then Jerusalem be trodden down by Gentiles. The time Gentiles be fulfilled. That's going back a little bit in time, right? That means what they're doing to the Palestinians and everything right now. Okay, because they're the Gentiles. Okay, here we go. I just set you up for the demon wars. Demon wars. See, that's what we need to be talking about. Demon wars, because that's the main war. That's the war. We need to be concentrating on, brothers and sisters, because Suleiman, his mission is to take down the demons, and then the jinn over there, demons here, and the jinn over there. We go back and take our land back. That's what Joshua, he was given the land by God, but he said, now you got to go take it. It's yours now, go take it. So he had to go to battle, take it. But first he had to destroy the demons, because the demons is causing now people to be disunited. Because they're the hidden enemy. Okay. The second demon war. So we had the first one, I'm not going to go into all that. The second one is the face of a serpent. See, when you see up there, oops, that's an area there. Let me. I'm gonna take that out. I'm gonna take it out because I don't want that to be there. Confuse somebody. Let's take it out. I don't know how that happened. Okay. Okay. We see up there, we see the mountains. That's also a serpent, and the face we see elected. That would be a face. So the face of the serpent, we're actually talking about Suleiman. Not his serpent, is just angel language again. So this at the point where, see, false Israel there, they're under siege. They're still under siege. American Britain is kicked out. See, American Britain is kicked out, right? And Jerusalem is surrounded by armies, and they're under siege. The Shia had them under siege. America and Britain can no longer help them. See, and that's when Suleiman comes. See, because they're getting ready to attack. That's when Suleiman comes. See, this is where it talks about thrones are cast down in the ancient of days, because he comes, right? And that's when the war begins between the demons and the saints, because those two wars will be simultaneous. See, so in other words, David is taking out Goliath, which is false Israel, right? Also, he went to war with the dragon. So when he goes to war with the dragon, Suleiman goes to war with the demons. See? Now he's been at war with them spiritually for 30 years. But now it says he will destroy them, right? It says he will consume the son of perdition with the spirit of his mouth, but destroy him with the brightness of his coming. So that's where we are right now. That's when he suddenly comes to Elijah's temple, as in Malachi, and he cleans it up. So this is where we're going to war, right? There's going to be a war between, this was talking about Exodus, there's going to be a war between Aaron's followers and those with Joshua. That's what Moses said. Those, he didn't say those with me, he said those with the Lord, those with Joshua, right? See, come with him, and those who were Aaron, right? They were separated, and then they went to war. And it took Joshua's and his people. They wiped out all of Aaron and his people. So there it is right now. See? Okay, that's the second demon war. That's the physical one. There was one before the George Floyd thing last 5 months, right? So I'm not going into the history of the demons. Well, maybe I'll touch on a little bit. See, every 50 years we get an energy increase in energy, as I've been telling you, and that's marked by, because music represents our emotional status, right? So we go back, we see the blues in the 1860s, because we had the blues, got jazz in 50 years later in the 20s, right? Then we got soul in 50 years later in the 60s, right? Now we're getting ready to be totally liberated, right? We're going to finally get away from these devils. But that's also coincides, right, with the demon interaction we had. Because we've been at war with the demons ever since they came into existence. Because their purpose, master board resistance purpose, is to keep us confused, keep us under control. The demons are his children, his black-faced children. See, so before the 1880s, right? Before 1860s, right? Okay, the conflict right there was they was the house Negroes and we was the field Negroes, right? And the preachers and everything, all of them. Their whole purpose was to keep us under control, to spy on us, make sure we leave the plantation, tell us to be listed to massa, obey master, stay on the plantation, all that kind of stuff, right? So they was opposed to us then. See, so that was distinction there. Then went to the next stage, right? After 1860s, and the state was then, right? The conflict. We had two divisions. Remember, you got two visions there. See, the house Negro vision, right? Be close to the master, field Negro. We want to get out of here. We want to get off this plantation. We want to hide, run. And the other vision, no, stay here with massa. Then you move to the next stage, and the vision was, right, after so-called Civil War, right, stay here with massa or run to the cities, get the hell, run north. That was the two distinctions there. The demons wanted to stay sharecrop with massa. See, the original people wanted to see if True Abraham wanted to get the hell away from massa. So they ran to the cities north. Then 50 years later, right in the 20s, 1920s, yet again, right, another distinction. It was Eurocentric or Afrocentric. That was the thing. So those people that wanted to go with, listen to Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey and Elijah Muhammad stuff, and as opposed to other people, right? They were looking at Booker T. Washington, those people that, oh man, we need to be more like white people. We need to more learn to be like them and blend into American society and all that kind of stuff. They had this brown paper bag test where if you was darker than a paper bag, then yeah, you'd be bothered with you because you want to lighten up. So you want to mix in. See, you want to emulate massa. But that was the demons. That was their perspective. See. That was the Eurocentric perspective. But then Afrocentric perspective, we want to get out of here. There's a lot of blacks left. They went off to a place called, what they called it, Liberia. A lot of black folks did leave. See. Then 50 years later, another distinction. Remember, you got two distinct visions. So then you had the integrationists and the segregationists. Those want to be separated and those want to be integrated. See, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. See? But see, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, that's another story. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. That's a little subtle. But anyway, so you had those two. And you had disagreement there. Right? Those wanted to be with Master, get closer to Master, integrate with Master, and those wanted to be separated from him. You see? Remember that about Martin Luther King? That was at that time was representing Martin Luther King and the two prominent figures of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. The two views. See? And then you come 50 years later now, and now we're talking about Abrahamic covenant. See, because no one's talking about that. They ain't talking about that, not even Farrakhan. We're going to have to read, we'll explain that in a minute, because that's the point where we getting the hell out of here, and they want to stay, because he said we ain't going nowhere. He's representing the view of staying here, and we represent the view of getting the hell out of here, getting away from Massa altogether, have our own nation. He wants to build a nation here. See, so it's talking about blacks. See, he's representing demons. Because remember, they're black faced, but they have a different vision. So he wants to talk about nation, but he wants a nation here with Massa. And we want our own nation away from Massa, far away from Massa. Okay, so I thought I'd bring that out. Okay, so that's a little history going on here. So that's where we are right now. And that's why I said you had the messenger of the covenant that will come after Elijah. See, because Elijah represented the part separation. See, as opposed to integration. But the messenger of covenant, right, saying, okay, we got our land and we're going to take it. We finally getting the hell out of here. Elijah Muhammad didn't deliver us. He's told us about it. Prepared us. But then you had the son of perdition come and try to destroy all of that. Okay. So now, as far as this on the siege here, still on the siege, right? The battle is going on in the Nation of Islam between the demons and the saints, right? Those with Aaron and those with Joshua. right? That's why Ancient of Days sit down, Suleiman sits, and thrones are cast down. That means that the officials in NOI, they're cast down. A bow is about to take off. See? And that's the battle between Farrakhan's demons and Solomon's saints. And the problem is, that's where the situation is going to be, because remember it says he's representing the demons. See, they side with him. He's representing the demons, right? See, so they're going to be kicked out, but they're all going to unite on him. Because remember, they want a nation too, but they want a nation here, and Master is not going to allow any black nation. They already had the experience with Elijah Muhammad. They set falsehoods and everything else that counts that. They're not going to allow a black nation. They said that in there in the scripture. Not going to allow it. But now you got two nations on their hands that's coming together. You got the demon nation under Farrakhan. He's the main person. He's the chief demon. That's what you see in Book of Mark. He's chief demon. Says, we are many. My name is Legion. We are many. See, he's speaking to them, but he's exploiting Elijah Muhammad's followers. But he's speaking to them. Listen to him. We ain't going nowhere. We want to bring devils in NOI, because he got Massa. He wants to be with Massa. He said he want to bring devils in NOI. Why do you want to do that? See, he wants to pray for America. America's in the trouble. He wants to fight for America. This country, this land belongs to us, even though the covenant says we're in a land that doesn't belong to us, a land that's not ours. But he said, no, it's ours, because he's a demon. He's Master in blackface. He's Master's children. They're Master. See, that's the story between the chaff and the wheat. See, and then you got the original. You got the saints, right? They're coming together as a nation under Suleiman. So you got a big problem. So America's about to attack. They're not going to let that happen. See? They're not going to let that happen. Because now they see false Israel in trouble. And that's what a lot of them are waiting for. Because a lot of them, they still had the idea that false Israel is true Israel. But Farrakhan has been saying that he's saying they're the seed of Abraham, but they want to stay here. See, he's claiming that they're the seed of Abraham. I said there's 4 contenders to the seed of Abraham. There's false Israel, that's a contender, right? You got the Europeans, they saying there's spiritual seed of Abraham. The treaty, the covenant with Israel was abrogated. So now they became the spiritual, that everything is theirs now. Then you got the true seed of Abraham, right? And you got the demons who say they're the seed of Abraham, but they want to stay with Massa because they got our blood in them, but they're Massa's children. Hope you understand this. See, this is where the conflict comes in at. See, so this is happening right while false Israel was under siege. Question: who is the real Son of Man? Because that's what Farrakhan suddenly he's claiming he's the Son of Man. See, so now they're preparing to attack because they're not going to let a nation be born. They're not going to let a black nation be born here. They ain't going to let that happen. Now you got 2 of them. 2 of them. Both of them claim to be the seed of Abraham because they see what's going on over there, and they've been listening to Suleiman say they anticipate. They're not sure. Now I say when Joshua came into the camp, he heard the sound of war, but it wasn't the sound of defeat or victory. That means war was going on, and that's when he got into it with Aaron's followers. See, during that period of time. See, while the war was going on, that means false Israel was still in the siege. So America's preparing to attack. See. Then false Israel was taken out. That's the desolation of Paul. Man, this is not a long time. This happened very quickly. It could be weeks, a month or more, but this happened very quickly. See, so now the abomination of desolation, right? Now false Israel is taken, it's gone. That division that controlled this whole thing, the whole vision this world is operating on, is destroyed, demolished. uh, what's the word? Well, anyway, it's demolished. See, overnight, totally disintegrated. See, gone. That throws the whole world in turmoil because now they got to establish new vision. What do we do? Where do we go? You got to have a vision. A nation without a vision perish. People without a vision perish. Now they got to establish new vision. But what's the vision that's possible? The vision that's possible is that they, false Israel is not the one. That means you got three contenders out there now. You got Europeans who are saying they are. There's spiritual seed. And then you got these two black factions that's saying they are. Now, if they are, that means Europeans who had the power, that means they're nothing but devils and beasts. That's been, because their whole idea right now is they're good people. That they're the spiritual seed of Abraham, and that God's with them, right? And that they're good and just, and that's why they talk the way they talk. But this will be clear. If we're the true seed of Abraham, that means it's clear who they are. They're devils, they're evil, and God's coming after them, and they don't want to be thinking that way, and they don't want their people to be thinking that way. And the only way you can stop that is to destroy the alternative. That means the other claimants. Because if they don't exist, then they have to be the true seed, spiritual seed of Abraham. That means they're good, just people all over again. And they just got rid of us. Because we were nothing but devils anyway. So they say, if we got rid of them niggas, they weren't them devils anyway. They were nothing but seed of Ham, who is destined to be slaves. That's how they got cursed black. See, so once they get rid of us, then they can save their conscience, they can say their mentality, they can say their vision, right? They can say their minds. See? So that's the attack. See? Because you got Farrakhan talking about, we the seed of Abraham. See, they're demons, but they want to stay here. Then you got Suleiman talking about, no, original people are seed of Abraham. See, but he's representing, right, the NOI, who are truly not the seed of Abraham, but they've been grafted in, they're adopted, right? So they received the promise also, because they went through what we went through. You understand? So then they attack. And this is when they flee to the mountains. That's what it means. They come together. Blacks come together. Only blacks don't come together is the demon, Christian demons, because they're going to hesitate. They're going to hesitate. See? Because they might be sympathetic with Farrakhan, but they still love Daddy. And they're going to try to talk Daddy and say, Daddy, why are you attacking us? This is a story about Lot. When Lot hesitated, when Lot's wife hesitated, right? And she became bitter, because they're going to try to talk their way, try to talk mass and say, no, hold on. We with you. You guys attack us. We with you. We're going to stand behind you. We're going to fight with you and everything else. See? But they're going to want reparations. They're going to want something. Yeah, we with you, but we can't, we want that's what they're talking about. We want reparations. We want our own city. We want our own country, whatever. We want to stay here with you, right? See, because they don't want no Islam. I mean, they sympathetic with Farrakhan, but they don't want that. They want their Christianity, but they want their little territory and everything else. They're talking reparation, and Master ain't giving up nothing. And he's gonna let them be united. See, they don't understand that's the problem. He don't want them united. And of course, as long as they united, that means they still talking that seed of Abraham stuff, right? And they can't allow that. See, because they want to get rid of that. Because they can't have any contenders. Because if there's contenders, that means they're not who they say they are. They're the devils and evil, the monsters, the beasts that the Bible say they are. And they can't be thinking like that. They don't want their people to think. They want their people to think they're good. Hold that. Yeah, they talk. They talked like so holy, like they was angels that came over here, and they came over here with flowers and stuff, and Jesus, and they talked to the natives, and the natives loved them so much, and they just gave them this land, and black folks said, hey man, let's go over there, and let's go over there and help those white folks. And they came over here, right, and came over here and was working with white folks, and white folks was doing nice to them and everything else, but then they were so wicked, they got so much trouble that white folks had to take them, put them in, lock them up, because they was just so evil. That's what they really think. Okay, so that's what's going on here. Okay, so when black folks, that means all black folks come together in a territory. All black folks will be pushed together because they're under attack. See, and they're going to reject the Christian demons because white folk, the mass ain't going along with that. See, so then they're going to join too. We're going to say in a minute. So all black folks are going to be pushed together because they're going to be under attack. See. Only thing that's delaying them, right, is that the African blacks, right, are going to be under attack too. Because they're going to attack all blacks. They ain't taking no chances. See? So all they're going to be, so it's going to be nothing but, so you have, this country going to be on fire. And blacks going to be forced, because you can be forced out your neighborhoods. All the Caucasian countries going to come after you. If your neighborhoods, you're going to be on attack. You're going to be fleeing for your life. Every time you flee, you'll be fleeing for your life. Because if you stay in your neighborhood, they're going to kill you. Any black folks, anywhere you stand there, they're going to kill you. That's what it's talking about. It's not talking about just the military. That's why I said flee. Flee for your life, because when they see false Israel going down, right? They're gonna be confused. They're gonna be totally discombobulated. They're gonna be totally disorientated. But they got sense enough to know that if that false went down, because the whole reason was set up to keep people thinking that you was a true seed of Abraham, they're gonna have that much understanding, and they're gonna tear you apart. And the government's gonna be right on, because they're gonna see the government doing it. They're gonna recognize what's going on, and if you got a neighbor. Right? If you're a white neighbor, you're going to be destroyed. That's why I said run for your life. See? So all black folks have to run for their life. They're all run together. They're going to run to the center of the country. They're going to be getting the hell out of there, every place. Because if you stick around, oh man, so I'm going, then you're going to be killed. And during that time also, right, there's going to be hunger. Right? Because when that war starts, it's going to be trouble in America. Electricity is going to be electrical failures, maybe total failures in many places, right? Hunger, right? Because if there's electricity, there ain't going to be no food. You ain't going to be able to cook it anyway, even if you get it. But they ain't going to be delivering anything. It's going to be a disaster. See? It said children become gray-headed because they're going to be scared to go to sleep because they said they're going to eat their own children. They're going to eat their own children. These know how these people are. So they will eat their own children. They're not going to go 1 minute without a meal. And they're going to come to these meal. They're going to start eating. Some of them eat their children, eat their pets. So children be scared to death. They ain't going to stay home because they're going to come to realize that, hey, what happened to Nancy? Daddy, what happened to Nancy? Oh, I don't know. Is that her hair in the soup? You see? What happened to Rover? Is that Rover's hair in the spaghetti? You see? And they're going to realize they're next. So they can't stay home, and they can't run out on the streets because anybody catch them, they're going to eat them. Wouldn't that make a child gray-headed? Because nothing like that happened in World War II. Nothing in World War II made children gray-headed. It said this would make children gray-headed. And men's hearts be filled with fear, right, of things coming. So people's hearts are filled with fear because what they see already happening at war in the Middle East, they know it's coming home here. And they're in distress anyway. And it's going to be hell in distress in the country. And that's why I said black folks flee, because you're going to be staying in your house. That's what got beacons. So that's why I said beacons, so people know where to go. See, to get together, but for protection. And then eventually we all come together. Because we're going to push together we're going to have a territory, all black folks, we're in territory around the center of the country. I'm not going to say exactly where, because these clowns will probably put radiation or something. Knowing we're going to know where we're heading to, run into a trap. That's what's going to happen. All black folks come together in a territory under under fire. See, because they're going to run you out your neighborhoods, and the military is going to close in on you, destroy you in your territory. So then I said the demons would have, what Christian demons, when they realize they still nothing they could say, and they still attacking them, they trying to negotiate, they attacking why okay, and they realize, and then they're really bitter because they love Master. They just want to understand why Master don't love them. Master, you my daddy. Just like back in, back in the fields, right? They was Master children, but they still niggas as far as Master concerned. They might have little perks and other ones in the field, right? The house Negroes, they were still niggas. And so, Master, why you our daddy. I don't care. See? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So now, this third demon war. See? The other one was the conflict between the NOI, throwing the demons out of there, throwing Farrakhan and his demons out of there. This third one here. The first one I talked about that goes back to the George Floyd situation. I'm not going to go into that. So now we all in the territory, but now you got the conflict, the demons and the saints, original people all in the territory. Who's going to run it? Who's going to control this? Who's going to be the general? Who's going to tell what to do? Because we under attack. We're attacked by devils. Who's going to run? Who's going to control this thing? See? How we going to operate here? What's the rules? And that's where, right? Remember I told you different stages. First, sharecropping, right? As opposed to running north. And then Eurocentric, Afrocentric, then integration, separation, right? And now here's the final conflict right here between the chaff and the wheat. That's what's talking about, the judgment. See? So they get to fighting. That's another war right there. Who's going to control this? See, they want their Christianity up there. They want their pork and all that kind of stuff, red naked. And the original people, true seed Abraham, don't want that. But they got two different visions. Both of them claim to be true seed Abraham, right? So you got those two visions. They fighting with each other, right? While being attacked by the other people who claim they're the true seed Abraham, claiming they're the spiritual seed Abraham, they're attacking them. So you got those three visions all fighting with each other. All fighting with each other. See? Being attacked by, right, the whites, the Christians, being attacked by them, right? And then they fight with each other. The black Christians, the demons, right, fighting with the saints, fighting with the wheat, the chaff and the wheat, fighting with each other in that territory. That's what's talked about. So everybody's under fire here. See? And then you got the Sunnis, they're involved also, we said in a minute. See? But they're going to be attacking the NOI. That's a great distress in the land. This country going to be totally, and all the time they're still fighting overseas and getting whipped over there. They're getting whipped so bad over there, they lose all control internationally, lose all control. America's defeated everywhere. They're forced back here into America, within the borders of America. And that's when the nations close in on them. That's when China, India, with non-Islamic Africa, right? That's led by Obama, that's when they come and move it because they close in on America. See, so America's forced back within the boundaries, all opposed all over the world. They defeated, forced back here, right? Here, this place totally in chaos. And then they're being invaded. That's what's going on, brothers and sisters. And then the fourth demon war. This is where the demons are defeated. They kicked out. So he was separated. Let's get back to Mark, where demons were separated. They was thrown back their swine daddies. See? And then Jesus left, but he wouldn't take the demon-possessed man that was possessed with him. That's the saints. That's the NOI. They had to stay back, because they had to stay back and go through tribulation period. See? Because when we left, that's what says Michael, he delivered, right? He delivered only those in the book of life. That was the elect. He only took them with him. But he left the saints back, those says Some to everlasting life, and some to everlasting shame and department. The demons, everlasting shame and department, but the saints, right? The NOI, that's everlasting life. So, but they got to go through tribulation. See, and that's where you see the water right there. The water also represents the Sunni. So they've been attacked by, because they don't want them talking about they the seed of Abraham, because they know we're going to take that land back, because they're selling our land. If we choose Abraham, right, that means the land belongs to us. So they're going to, that's why I said the dragon attacked the woman. Attacked that one that kept the, that kept the rules and laws and everything of God. So they're under attack by them during the tribulation. Also under attack by the whites. See? Going to tribulation. See? That's the fourth demon. The fourth demon war is not between us and the demons. That's the one called the locust. See? Because it says when they were slain, they already been slain now. They were slain by Joshua and his people. They slain it said they're slain the whole families, everything, slain them all. And it said it was slaying them out was 3,000. Why 3,000? Because those understanding angel know that down here, right? This represents 1,000. This represents 1,000. This represents, don't mean 3,000 people. This represents 1,000. That's why 3,000. All the demons. That means they say all the demons. And so now, at this point, right, this represents Samson, because Samson was positioned. He was also a demon. He went through slavery, but they took him and put him to slavery, right? And they blinded him. He has his strength back, but he didn't have eyes back. That means he's a demon, right? He had the strength of black people, but he had the wisdom, right? So he's positioned himself between two pillars, American Britain, that's right here, and he brings them down and destroys himself in the process. So in other words, that's the fourth demon war, tearing this country literally apart, because they can't go with us. We don't want them. We just kicked them out, and masters don't want them, so they go to war. 17 million of them. 17 million. They don't have no choice. They walk against the wall. See, because we don't want them. It's 17 million demons. It's a half the blacks in America's demons are demons. That means 17 million of them. 17 million of them are original. See Abraham. It's 17 million demons, and they just going. They don't master one, and they don't want to go with us anyway. See, they want us to stay here with them and fight with them, but they want to control it. That was the whole thing when we was fighting with them, right? When they were all together, they want us to submit to them and fight with them against Massa, right? To get Massa to concede, give concessions, to give us our own land over here, right? Stop fighting us. That's their idea. That's their vision. See? And give control to them under Farrakhan, because he's with them. He's the chief demon. That's their vision. But we don't want them. So at this point, we're gone, because Syria and Iran is not coming over here. That means we're over there. So when this fourth demon, what happens? We're gone. But the saints are still here. They're going to tribulation. See, because that represents the ark, right? And the ark was on the waters, but the waters was part of the tribulation. And so that means saints in the tribulation, and also with the Sunnis, they fighting with the Sunnis. That's over here. See? So they're being attacked by them. See? And also be attacked by the Christian whites. And the demons, right? They totally fighting for their lives over here in America. And they're going to be destroyed. See? They're going to be destroyed. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. That's the so-called locust war they talk about the angel. At 5 months, that will last for 5 months. But we're gone. See? That be happening in America. So that 5 months will be total hell. And it ends what? Ends with the invasion by China and India. See? At that point, that's when the saints will be delivered. That's the whole story about Moses, right? That they was fleeing through the wilderness and they was being chased by Pharaoh's soldiers, right? And they got to the sea, right? And the Red Sea, remember they called China Red China, right? So they got to the sea opened up, right? And they was able to, and they was able to pass through. Why? Because God, the reason why it says that China and India, if you read chapter 17, it says they hate the whore, but it was God that inspired them They attacked the whore. So they do it under Pharaoh's command. That same thing about the goats. The goat had two eyes, a horn between two eyes, right? That was Pharaoh leading them. See, because he's in control. Why would they do what he tell them to do? Because they're also dependent upon that oil in the Middle East, just like Europe was. Totally dependent upon it. Totally. You see. So unless they want their economies collapse as they saw happen to Europe, they're going to do what Pharaoh wants them to do. Anyway, I hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. See. Is that it? Okay, that's it, brothers and sisters. So we go into war. We've been at war with demons for over 464 years, right? But now it's going physical. So be ready, brothers. So your sister don't have to worry, because brothers, these brothers are going to take care of you. Not just fake, weak demon brothers and all them. They ain't our brothers anyway. These brothers are going to take care of you. You don't have to worry about anything. We know some of you sisters want to get out there and kick some ass, but you don't have to worry about anything. We're going to deal with this. See, there's a lot of stuff going on you don't even know about, but you don't have to worry about anything. Your days of worrying are over. Your days of worrying over, sisters. Your days of all this BS that you've been going through is over. If you go through it just because you choose to. See. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.